All right, welcome to week 5, new 28. And this is a factoring application. So when you go ahead and do the independent worksheet, it's going to be a collected worksheet. It's going to count as an assignment. So on the previous video, we did the basics on how to solve proportions, and this we're going to look at how factoring is applied to them. So let's get started. All right, so the first couple I'm going to kind of take you through. The first couple are going to look very similar to the ones we did in the last video. And again, you're going to be able to simplify to that simplest fraction form. You do not need to and should not get a decimal answer unless a decimal it starts with a decimal in your problem. So for this one, you're going to do 6a equals 80. You're going to divide both sides by 6, and you're going to get a equals. Now again, utilizing those tricks and tips from your simplifying fraction worksheet. Maybe you cut this one in half and you get 40 over 3. You see you can't go any further, and you know that's your answer. And you get a equals 40 over 30. 40 over 3. All right, for number 2, cross multiply, you get 9n equals 42. Divide both sides by 9. Again, utilizing your simplifying fractions, you know that that's 3 times 14, you know that's 3 times 3. Cancel out the 3's and you get 14 over 3, and you are done. N equals 14 over 3. So just putting everything together. Now you get down to number 3 and you're saying like, that looks different, right? Looks different than the first two. So the first thing you need to realize is that this m minus 1 is a package, and you need to kind of treat it as a package deal. You need to package it up in those parentheses. So when you cross multiply now, this package stays together, so it's 2 times the quantity m minus 1 equals 40. Now that 2 gets distributed to the m and the negative 1, so we get 2m minus 2 equals 40. Add 2 to both sides. I get 2m equals 42. Divide both sides by 2, and I get m equals 21. So again, giving it another try, I package the binomial x minus 8. Then I cross multiply and I get 8 times x minus 8 in parentheses equals 15. I distribute that 8 out to the x and the negative 8, so I get 8x minus 64 equals 15. I add 64 to both sides. I get 8x equals 79. I divide both sides by 8, and I get x equals 79 over 8, and that does not simplify. The answer does look weird. Let me just make sure I didn't make a mistake, because one of you will catch it. Everything does look good to me, but I am tired and it is late. So if it doesn't look good, just let me know. All right, looking at 5 and 6 now. Again, a little different than 3 and 4. So adding something each step of the way. Now, there are problems like each of these on the worksheet that will be collected. So if you get stuck, come back to this video and find the one that looks similar to each of these types of problems. All right, so we're going to package that binomial and we're going to cross multiply. So we get 5 times x plus 2 equals 9x. So here we end up with a variable on both sides. Distribute this, so we get 5x plus 10 equals 9x. Now, we need to bring the 5x over because we need x's only on one side. And we don't really have a choice because if we bring this over, we'll end up with nothing on our right side, and that's a problem. So we don't have a choice. We have to bring this 5x over. So these are gone. We get 10 equals 4x. We divide both sides by 4, and we get x equals 5 over 2. All right, packaging that up, cross multiplying, we get 8 times n minus 4 equals 3n. We get 8n minus 32 equals 3n. We subtract 8n from both sides. Now, this is one of those cases where, like, usually I would definitely want to subtract 3n just because it's smaller and I would end up with negatives, or I'm going to end up with a negative n here, but I really don't have a choice because if I subtract the 3n, then I end up with a blank side and I can't end up with nothing on the side of my equation. It's just, I can't have an empty side of my equation, then I don't have an equation anymore. So I get negative 32 equals negative 5n. I get n equals 32/5 because my negatives cancel out, leaving me with a positive. 4 more. So if I look now, again, looking different, I have 2 packages here. When I cross multiply, I get 4x minus 1 equals 7x minus 6. It does not matter which side you put on which. Distribute both. 4x minus 4 equals 7x minus 42. Make sure you distribute to both binomials, to both terms. I need my x's on one side, so I'm going to subtract the 4x. Now I do have a choice because there's x's on both sides and there's number terms on both sides. There's constants. Those cancel. I get negative 4 equals 3x minus 42. I add 42 to both sides. I get 3x equals 38. Divide both sides by 3. I get x equals 38 over 3. Again, a lot of odd fractions here. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that as long as I've done my work right. But fractions are okay. We're going to leave our answer like that. All right, we package our answers, our binomials up. We cross multiply. So we get 5k plus 5 equals 8k minus 6. Distribute out to both things on both sides, to both terms. We get 5k plus 25 equals 8k minus 48. Subtract 5k from both sides. We get 25 equals 3k minus 48. Add 48 to both sides. 3k equals 73. Over 3 equals k. All right, now the last two, you might be saying, like, you said this was a factoring worksheet. Here's where it is. All right, and you kind of notice right away, if you see where you package your binomials and then you go to cross multiply, we end up with p plus 4 times p plus 5 on one side equaling 6. Now, when we do this, this ends up being my double distributive property, meaning I have to take p times p and p times plus 5. So p times p is p squared, p times 5 is plus 5p. Then I have to come back and take this 4 to these two, so plus 4p plus 20, and that is equal to 6. So now I have to combine all my like terms. So right here I have this, not a great color choice, sorry. And then I have this and this that I have to get on the same side. So I can write p squared plus 9p, and then here I have to subtract the 6 from here and the 6 from here because I have to get everything on the same side. So get all on same side. So when I do that, I get p squared plus 9p plus 14 equals 0. Now the equals 0 is key. Get it equal to 0, because if you remember, getting it equal to 0 was what we used last week to split and solve. Remember my key phrase for me making it rich? And now we want to say, okay, well, 14. 1 times 14, 2 times 7, 3 times 4, 3 times nothing, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 2, and we're done. And we're positive 14, so now we're adding, and that's 15 or 9, and it's going to be 9, and we're positive 9, so that's plus and plus. Okay, and we're a equals 1, right? So it's p plus 2, p plus 7, and since we're equal to 0, we're splitting and solving. So p plus 2 equals 0, p plus 7 equals 0, so p has to be equal to negative 2, or p has to be equal to negative 7. And I'm all done. So now you've put it all together. All right, so let's try it over here. Package this up, package that up. We're cross multiplying. So we have n plus 1, n minus 4 equals 50. So I have n squared, because I have n times negative 4. So minus 4n. Then I come back here and do these two. So plus n minus 4 equals 50. So I have n squared minus 3n minus 4 equals 50. I'm going to subtract 50 and subtract 50. That's going to cancel that out. So I get n squared minus 3n minus 54 equals 0. So now I've got it equal to 0. I've gotten everything on my one side. And now I'm multiplying to negative 54. So now I have 1 times 54, 2 times 27, 3. Does 3 work? I think it does. 18, 4, 5, 6 times 9, and then the next one's 9, 6. Okay, now I'm negative, so I want all the subtraction. So 53, 25, 15, and 3. Well, I want 3, and I want negative 3. So I want negative 9 and positive 6. So a equals 1, or n equals 1 in this case, right? So I have n plus 6, n minus 9, and I'm equal to 0, so I want to split and solve. So I have n plus 6 equals 0, and n minus 9 equals 0. So I subtract 6 to get n equals negative 6. and I add 9 to get n equals 9. So my answers are n equals -6 and n equals +9. And I'm all done. So again, if you have any questions, go back, find the question that's most similar. Ask me questions if you need to, and good luck.